move on to another story and start with some quotes. With all the snow falling today, the Duke of Sutherland must think it's Christmas. He's getting £50 million for a painting, and it seems an absurd use of public money. Well, the critic is Glasgow Labour MP Ian Davidson. The painting is Titian's Diana and Actaeon. The mood at the Scottish Gallery, which now part owns the Italian masterpiece, couldn't be more different. In many ways, it's a truly pan-European painting. Painted by an Italian for a Spanish king, eventually the possession of a Scottish duke, whose ancestors are blamed for the Highland clearances. So much for history. Today, with the help of £12.5 million from the SNP government, Titian's Diana and Actaeon was secured for the United Kingdom.
Fantastic news. I'm delighted to announce that the campaign for the Titians has been successful.
Few dispute this painting's significance, but it is one of two Titians in the Bridgewater collection, a collection that also includes works by Raphael, Rembrandt, Van Dyck and Tintoretto, all very significant artists. Today's deal includes these paintings. They'll remain on loan for 21 years. But is the public purse now destined to take a hit every time a wealthy art owner needs a tax-free cash injection, and in difficult economic times, who decides which paintings are significant and which ones are not? Well, just before we came on air, I spoke to John Layton, Director General of the National Galleries of Scotland, and began by asking him whether he felt the Duke of Sutherland had held him to ransom.
No, I don't. I think that we've had the benefit of access to his collection for over 60 years. He's very generously allowed us the chance to acquire a key masterpiece at a very favourable price. He's offering the collection on long-term loan, long into the future. That's a choice for us. It's not being held to ransom.
50 million's a bargain, is it?
I know it sounds like a heck of a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but on the open market, this particular picture would be worth an awful lot more than that.
But if the Duke or somebody else who currently loans pictures to the galleries chose to do the same, would you do it all again and raise many more millions for other works of art?
Well, let's be clear, we're not talking about any old painting here. This is acknowledged as one of the greatest pictures anywhere in the world. The Bridgewater collection, from which it comes, has for over 200 years played an incredibly important part in our heritage, and for over 60 years here in Scotland. It's been widely acknowledged as being in a class of its own of importance of heritage for this country.
But yet you've heard people today say, quite bluntly, it's a waste of money.
I can understand the reaction to when you talk about the sums involved and when you set it in the present economic context. But of course, I think you've got to see this as an investment. It's an investment in our culture, it's an investment in our heritage and our education, but it's also an investment in terms of our tourist industry. Cultural tourism is incredibly important to Scotland, and this is an investment which returns dividends not just now, not just in the medium term, but perhaps hundreds of years into the future. So we're looking at the long term.
But do you not feel just a little embarrassed when you see governments handing over millions of pounds which could be spent on other things, not least keeping people in work?
Well, let's be absolutely clear here. This is a mixture of private and public funding. We've raised over £10 million from private sources. A lot of the other money has come from donations, for example, to the National Gallery in London for specifically this purpose. Other budgets have been used that are either for cultural investment in cultural infrastructure or for saving our heritage. So we haven't been siphoning off money from other sources. This is money that would have been used for exactly these purposes. But I think to come back to your point, is it a waste of money or is it money that could be better spent? And I think the answer to that is in the reaction of visitors over hundreds of years, over the pleasure and enjoyment and education, not just for our children but for our grandchildren, but also I think in the economic benefits, attracting visitors from all over the world. We have 16 million visitors a year to Scotland, £4 billion for the Scottish economy. Cultural tourism is an incredibly important part of that, and that means jobs, that means wealth, that means prosperity for Scotland in the future.
I'm not sure they all come to see the Titian, but John Layton, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the Herald's take on the Titian story. It says anger of Scotland loses out on £50 million deal, a reference to the fact that the painting will be shown for 8 months of the year in London. In The Scotsman, The Splash, Scotland saves its Mona Lisa, but more cash is needed for another Titian. That's all from us. Gordon's here tomorrow. Watch again on the iPlayer. Good night.